now to the official start. We have Robin Smith today. Super excited to have her. And I always love to, share a little bit about my personal experience with each person as to why I chose them. And I'll be a little vulnerable here for a second. I am actually a very shy person. I know that's going to shock some of you, but I am, especially in like large groups of people. And when I joined Luxury Pro, I would say Robin was one of the first people to really just be welcoming and inviting and creating events that brought people together. And that's so important for me because I am a little bit more shy and quiet. So it was great that she reached out and created events where I could feel included and comfortable and made great friends through the opportunity. So thank you, Robin, for all that. And I'm excited to hear from you today. So we had a great conversation yesterday. We talked a lot about you have a very amazing background. You've done a lot of things. But instead of walking through all of your background, I really want to dive into a couple of the things that I think really hit home for me. When we do these Zooms, I'm so fortunate that every time the people are so different. There might be a few common threads here and there, but I'm just shocked every time that it's such a different story for each person. Even if you're doing a few things that are, in common with somebody else, you have your unique style, the unique combination of things. And I think you've got just some really cool things about you that I wanted to touch on. I'd like to start with philanthropy, because I think that was a big one. I heard that throughout everything that we talked about over and over, not just from the standpoint of like it's such a big package for you, I think. And I think it's cool how you mix it together. So it's like your personal life and your business life kind of mesh together. So you want to start there? Would that be okay?
That would be great. That would be great. I am huge about giving, huge. And that giving, I think, started as a kid. And I always loved getting responses from people out of heart. So I combine in my work and outside of my work. I'm a Rotarian. I have been a Rotarian since 2010, and I have traveled the world giving back. And because of that, when I first got into real estate, I know guys just add 10 years to that, please. When I first got into real estate 36 years ago, I had become part of an event to better myself. I'm all about consistently bettering myself. I think it's very important that every day you get up, you learn something new and you implement it. And so I was giving back to the event that I learned so much from. It was about self-awareness. And when I got through all the courses, I went and decided I was going to give back and donate my time and be part of it. And that step happened to launch me even further in my career when I'd only been in my career for 18 months. And that shot me into something that I was passionate about, besides giving back. I was passionate about if I was going to put somebody in my car, I was going to and show them a home. I really wanted to know about homes. And so I decided I wanted to go into new homes. And I happened to be as I said, at a seminar giving back, and I met somebody and they asked me what I did. And I said, I'm a realtor. And the conversation went further. And I said, I really want to learn more about new homes. And she happened to give me her card. And little did I know, she was the vice president of the largest builder in Las Vegas. And she said, when we get back to Vegas, I want you to talk to my broker. So my life, you're correct, and thank you, has been very well my career, my 36 years, what I give to my clients, how I give to others, how I create events in Vegas for Luxury Pro and luxury agents from all over the world during family reunion. All of it is not of what I want to receive. It's all about what I want to give. So thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, no, you're very giving and you create great opportunities for people. Um, sorry. And I really appreciate that. And I know many people do. I see people on this call that I've seen at your events, so I know that they appreciate it. So let's stay with the philanthropy for just a little bit. I know sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't have time for this. I'm so busy with work, or I'm so busy with this or that. Talk to us a little bit about how you've kind of merged them together. So it's not like you're taking a chunk out of your life to do it. You're folding it all together. Talk to us a little bit about that. And when you do this, I want people to think about that, your philanthropy may not be theirs, and maybe they aren't necessarily wanting to give back in that way, but maybe they have another kind of group. It may not even be a charity, but I think some of the things that the lessons you can teach could apply to different parts of other people's lives.
Um, my new husband will be married in October. This coming up October will be married a year. In fact, he got introduced at symposium last year because this is how Robin works and this is how Robin runs. It was symposium was 2 days after our wedding. So I just said, hey, honeymoon, jump in the car, let's go. That's how Robin runs. Um, and
And it was
that
great to see you both there.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the things that I do, and he says it all the time, he goes, your calendar, he said, it's full. And I do things and am able to juggle and be part of because I treasure moments, not just minutes and hours and days. I treasure moments.
Mhm.
So by doing that, I am a good juggler of time and effort, um, and I like to be part of. And when you like to be part of and participate, it grows every aspect of your life. It grows your business, it grows yourself, it grows relationships, big on relationships. You probably heard me say that many times yesterday. Um, and it is by making sure that I look at things, and I'm not one to at nighttime, I'm guilty. I might get that hour of veg time on the couch. Yet I really make sure that my I spend time with my family. I spend time at work. I spend time with others, and I do fit in going to all different events throughout the world
Mhm.
to make sure that my life is full. And people say, well, how do you do it all? I think that when you love what you do in all aspects, you find the time. And yes, I might not have time to, I'm not a real good vegger, sorry.
I'm not either.
I'm not a good vegger, but, and, never but, remember that, and, um, I also believe that it keeps us young, it keeps us
Mhm.
active. And I don't know if that's answering your question, Sandra, but it's what I do. I fill my calendar. I juggle, a lot of juggling. And I make sure at best with checking in to make sure that somebody isn't paying the price of my calendar.
Mhm. I love that. So what would you say to somebody who feels a little overwhelmed with the thought of that? You're running with a very busy calendar. Not everybody can operate at that high of a level of interactions and relationships. So what would you say to somebody who maybe is a little bit more introverted? Like how would you suggest that they either start, or how do they balance it?
Okay. Um, that's two good questions. I'm going to answer the balancing first. Um, I and based on who's on today and based on people who know me, at literally 2 years ago, I was a big team. There was 13 of us. Eight were licensed in sales and 5 were support. Now I do what I do and I'm a solo agent. Yet, I know people get shocked. They're like, solo agent, really? I've been a solo agent now for almost 2 years. Yet, my support is there. So in that, it's very, very important that you support yourself and make sure you have the right people around you. So I have behind the scenes, I have my, I call her my right brain, left brain, center brain, my assistant. You get good support. So I have my assistant, then I have my virtual TC, and I have a marketing company, and then I have a virtual VA to do things that I'm not able to that really need to be addressed. So I have a really good support. And then on top of that, 1st of January, I got and he's on here somewhere, I got my 19-year-old grandson who
Oh,
has
wow.
been, I know, and guys don't count. No adding fingers. Okay, so I got my 19-year-old grandson, and he has been in the world of real estate since he was 13 because
Wow.
his other grandmother, and he calls me Mimi, I'm not grandmother, Mimi. Um, he's been brought up in that arena since again, from 13, because she's been in business for 40 years and I've been in for my 36. So
Wow.
he's well balanced. So he's learning the ropes now from me, since he's learned the ropes from her. So that is, in answer to all of that, is having a good support behind you. And support is also your family.
Mhm.
And then you find that when you have that support, yes, you can go at faster and fill in those things that you'd like to do by
Mhm.
that support. Now, that's my answer for what I do. And the answer for, as far as if you aren't a crazy ever ready bunny like Robin, and you want to start things and you want to implement. I had a friend that was after me. Yes, I'm a little slow sometimes, guys. I actually do get slow about decisions on occasion. She was after me for 16 years to,
Wow.
yes, 16 years to join Rotary. And I was like, I'm too busy here. I'm too busy here. I have this kind of schedule. And then I just took a breath and I went in and I went to a meeting, took a breath, and I went in and I sat down. And I liked what I saw and I liked what I felt and I liked and I thought, you know what? When something feels good, you can implement it and you could make it part of your life.
Mhm.
Okay. So that was that. Don't ask me why it took me so long. Yeah, that was one of those things. So if there's something that you're passionate about, find, ask a friend, ask a client, look, seek, find someone in your market center that you say, you know what do you do? What outside of, or I'm thinking of, for example, Luxury Pro. I
Mhm.
could not have um, picked a better source of friendships. And I get the question all the time, how can you go to some place every single month? And I said, if you think about it, some people take off weekends, not in our world, but
Mhm.
some people take off weekends in essence. And I said, you know what? I jump on a plane on a Tuesday. I see people Tuesday night. I get to learn and grow on Wednesday. And then I jump on a plane on Thursday and I'm back in the saddle again.
Mhm.
I think for people who haven't started or want to start and do something, pick that item, pick that one item and insert yourself
Mhm.
and have it that one item because you know that you're personally going to grow, that it will help your business in essence, because when you love something, you're going to meet people and that eventually will grow. It's not why you join. I didn't
Mhm.
join Rotary to get business. I joined Rotary to grow and to give back. And interesting enough, I had been in Rotary for example, I think at that time it was 3 or 4 years. And all of a sudden I had four individuals in my club that needed to buy and sell, and I did $10 million worth of business. It was a blessing. It wasn't
Mhm.
why I did what I did.
Right. Yeah, it's a byproduct of the main goal, and the main goal is developing relationships and proving yourself, giving back. And then the business naturally comes because people, they know, like, and trust you. So now you're getting business without actually having to ask for it. People are bringing it to you. So you're feeding your soul, you're feeding your bank account, you're feeding so many aspects of your life. I think a lot of people have a hard time even getting started with things like that. I don't know how, probably on this call, we've got over 80 people here. I'm sure there's a handful of people on here that don't know, like they haven't joined a group, they're busy working, doing a great job of working, but maybe they're missing something outside. So hopefully, just this conversation alone will encourage people to join something. And I agree with you. Luxury Pro for me was a great outlet. And then I've got another group of people that I've met through all of the KW stuff that we now do stuff outside of masterminds with KW. So it's grown to a whole nother level of having friendships, but also support for work. And we've done some referrals back and forth across the country. So it's just feeding the soul and feeding so many different aspects. We don't have the charity portion of that where you do, which is even another aspect. So I love that.
Anytime you can be passionate, I'm going to keep that word out there. Be passionate about something. You'll win. And something you just hit upon, it can be anything outside of. If you're passionate about in your spare time that you garden, get a group of people together that love to garden, and you could start that easily on Facebook, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If you happen to um, absolutely adore Miss Susie, and Susie have put together a book club where we're reading a book, and we get together on Thursdays, and that's feeding us, and that's something that we're learning from, etc. So there's um, many avenues. Just pick something that you're passionate about,
Hmm.
and then seed it. And there's something that I love saying too, is every day when you plant seeds, eventually your forest will grow.
I love that.
Okay.
And I think the hardest thing for a lot of people is just getting started. It's taking that first step. Especially if you're like me. I self-admitted that I'm shy, and in a big group I'm a little awkward, not gonna lie. So it's hard for some people to get started. So hopefully, we're encouraging that we just get started. And you know what? The first thing you join may not work out, right? It may not be the thing. I've joined a few things that I thought were going to be amazing. And then I'm like, oh, no, no, too much politics or too much this or that. And so then, you got to replace it with something else. It's sometimes a journey to find it, but once you find it, it's so rewarding. And I'm a big advocate of blending your work and your pleasure together, because then work doesn't seem like so much work. It seems like fun. Like you get energy from it rather than being drugged down by it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So Robin, I want to talk about another thing that we talked about yesterday is teaching. I know you're a big advocate for teaching. So talk to us a little bit about that and how that feeds your soul and feeds your business.
I found that at a point in time when I was given the opportunity, and by the way, a little bit of background on that, I joined KW 11 years ago, and it really fit me because everybody helped each other. And I just love that because it fit instead of, you know, everybody being secretive. So that I love the fact that they gave me opportunity also to be in front of a class and teaching them. And I thought, oh my goodness, this this is exactly what I love to do. It fits everything that I enjoy. So I started picking classes I wanted to do. And I am well known in the city for new homes and for my construction background, et cetera.
Mhm.
I spent 13 years in that field, and I love teaching um, realtors on not to be afraid of builders, not to be afraid of going in and selling a new home. And so that desire to teach them how to become, and something else that I added to it was that's one of the easiest ways to get into luxury price point is by selling a new home that's in your luxury price point, and then being able to get into the world of luxury and so forth. That's the easiest. So I designed a class because of my desire to teach and to help people. It goes back to that help. Uh,
Mhm.
and so I designed a class, and it was 3 CE certified. And it was,
Nice.
mhm. And it was how to sell new homes and create relationships.
Okay.
Okay, and then I started teaching that to the market center. And then I went to the builders because I had great relationships with all the builders. And I went to the builders and said, "Can I teach it at your models and have agents from all over coming in and learning?" And they were like, "Oh my goodness, that's a wonderful idea. We'd love to have you do that."
Mhm.
So that was again one way that I did it. And I do teach. When I'm I travel to go to different clubs with back to Rotary and teach them about what we do in Rotary that they can participate in. And so I teach that. And I
Mhm.
teach, if ever I have the opportunity to, I always call it more share than teach.
Mhm.
Okay.
I like
Because,
that.
yeah, I like it because then I'm truly sharing knowledge and giving back. And I think that is what drives me. So if you're, again, it goes to passion. If there's something that you're passionate about and you want to share it, it's teaching,
Yeah.
sharing. So I do implement a lot of that regularly,
I
almost
love
to the
it.
point where I have to say, hold
You
on.
gotta say no sometimes, right? It's
Yep,
hard to say no.
yep,
Do you do, and if you don't do it, you should do it because you'd be great at it. Any buyer or seller seminars?
yes. I have in the past. I haven't lately after becoming very, very I've really was concentrated on luxury for the last 5 years. And
Hmm.
because of implementing, by the way, I'm going to go back to your question, but I want to say something. That 5 years ago in my market center, I was part of an ALC and very passionate about wanting to go into luxury. And you go, wait a minute, you've been in the business how long? And you hadn't really dove into luxury. Um, a little bit, not much. And so I thought, you know what, whenever you want to learn something or really implement it, go teach it because you'll learn real quick.
Hmm.
And so I brought to the market center, I went in and said, we need a luxury division and we need new homes. And they said, if you want to implement it, start it. Okay. So,
That's
so
the
I
great thing
did.
about KW is that, if you have an idea, you
Yes.
can implement it.
Yes. So what did Robin do? We did it. So, and then I went and got one of my faves in the office, Joni, and we dove in head head on. And that has changed this market center a lot. It's wonderful. Um, so back to your question, yes, I've taught classes. In fact, a young lady who used to be on my team, her name's Sarah King. She's a rock star. I'm very, very proud of her. very proud to see how she blossomed and bloomed and grew.
Mhm.
And that's a treasure too. Have somebody that's brand new and then down the road, and I think for her, it's about 3.5, 4 years later. And again, she's a rock star. I uh, taught her and blended to her as far as to do seminars, buyer
Mhm.
seminars, teachings, to link up with a lender and make it. And the other day, I ran into her. I'm having a Rotary board meeting downstairs at nighttime in the office. And I run into her in the stairway and I said, "What are you doing here?" And she says, I'm having a buyer seminar upstairs.
Ah,
And what she did with it and how she grew it, I was so very impressed. So yes, I've done classes as such, and I've taught others to do. And
Robin, would you do a class for us if I arranged for it? Would you teach us how to teach a buyer seminar?
I would do that. I would do that.
I just put you on the spot. I'm
I know
sorry.
you did.
That was a lot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I got excited about it. I got passionate about it. I know a couple of my agents are talking about doing one. So I thought, oh, you're the expert. I'm gonna just ask the question in front of all these people. Sorry.
But all right.
I didn't expect to do that.
Yeah, well, I'd love to. I'd love to. I have, which is, it was brought on obviously because of COVID. Yet I've even done my, and it's different. Now this one I wouldn't do outside of the state because it might be different, or maybe I could
Tweak, we
change
can
it,
tweak it,
tweak
or
it.
we can tweak it ourselves.
Right?
Like we'll
Okay.
understand the differences.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And I've also done via Zoom, and I just adored it, and really, really enjoyed it and dove into it. Was my how to sell new homes
Hmm.
and create. So doing a buyer seminar class on how to, would love to.
Okay, we'll pencil you in for that. All right, another topic I wanted to touch on. We talked a little bit about how you're a storyteller and how you find that is really powerful. And I totally agree with you. That's something that we talk about quite a bit on our team is don't just tell somebody, show somebody. Use the story, use the example. So talk to us a little bit about that and how you feel like that's helped you in your business.
I believe that when you can connect with a person through a story, through an experience, that creates a bond. So I will tell a story, real brief, and it because it really tells a lot. And I told it to Jack before you got on. Yet today, I'm wearing a necklace.
Actually mentioned my name. Wow.
I'm wearing a necklace that was sent to me a month ago, and it was from a client. And of course, I looked at it and I couldn't tell what it was initially, and Blake told me immediately. He said, "Mimi, it's Las Vegas. It's the city of Las Vegas."
Oh.
Okay, so I had a family, and I have a family that I
Stuff
helped.
away.
I helped this family sell a couple homes, buy a couple homes, met the children when they were little, and those children grew up and now they're in college. So this family moved to Nashville. And that relationship that we had along the way, and that bond, etc. And they said, "Robin, you always made Vegas not only your home, you made it a home for many. And Vegas is your home. And you always portray Vegas as your home. You are Vegas." And so they sent me Vegas.
Oh.
Okay. That's a story. And when you connect with people over stories, you will forever bond with them.
Mhm.
And I use storytelling and examples because it helps people. It truly
Yeah,
helps.
so your story right there evoked an emotion for me anyways, like it gave me the chills and, I felt the love that those people felt for you versus you saying, oh, they loved me. Or, oh, they thought I was an amazing agent. The story is what really sold me on it. And now I feel like I want that relationship. I want that experience with Robin. So why would I not hire Robin if I'm buying in Vegas?
Thank you. I have found, and it goes back to when when I got to be a big team, I found myself, I had this person doing this and this person doing this and this person doing this, and I got disconnected for what I like to do. And now as back to being me and being supported by amazing people, amazing people, I'm back to really truly enjoying what I do because I get to be with people and I get to show them why I love where I am and everything about it. And I get to tell my stories personally to them in the car while we're looking. I stutter because I get so excited over it right now, telling the history of Vegas and growing up here. I'll give you guys a little insight. When I landed here from Carson City, Nevada, when I was 15 years old. The city was 368,000. Today, the area is 2.4 million.
Wow.
And to know where all the streets are built and the homes and the communities and what happened here. And if you guys ever walk down the road, any great mob stories, you let me know. I've got mob stories too.
I love that.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, so you definitely can feel the experience and the knowledge, just in that short period of time of what you've just discussed. I think we all feel like Robin knows what she's talking about. Like, I would trust you to help me figure it out where I'm going to live.
That's that's wonderful to connect with people, and you pointed it out perfectly. It's called storytelling. Yes.
I love that. I love that. You had one other thing that you said that really struck me. One of your mottos you said was, every day I learn something new and
Implement it.
implement. Talk to us a little bit about that and how important that is in your life and how what impact that has on you.
Beth said, okay, this is a story. And I'll give a little, if I get a little, like this, I'm just, because it brings emotions for me.
It's a safe space here.
Okay. So when I was a young 23-year-old, actually 22 when my son was born, at 22, he was born in September, and at 8 weeks of age, he had an aborted crib death. Aborted crib death is when a child has a SID episode. Normally, 99% of the time, they don't make it. The babysitter, my first day back to work, the babysitter ran in and because her little boy ran in and had seen that my son was turning blue. Okay. And she revived him. And I was fortunate to have him in my life for another 14 years as a baby. He was always a baby. And that lesson was that he was the biggest gift that I could have. That stays with me and will be with me forever. Okay? And my lesson every day when he was with me, and to this day, is every day I get up, I learn something new. And it's my responsibility to implement what I learn and to always give back. Because when you do that, you win. You really win, and others win so much. So, I had to tell that because I think it gives more insight on people.
And
And
who you are and what you've been through.
so, I am blessed. I have a tremendous amount of friends and great family, and to have all these wonderful individuals on this meeting, I'm blessed because I'm able to give, even if I can give one thing, I feel like I accomplished an amazing amount this morning. So
Well, you're giving a lot today, and we appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable. I know it's not easy.
no, nope.
We appreciate you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
So I'm gonna open it up to questions if you're up for that,
I
Robin.
love questions.
All right, guys. She said she loves questions. So what have you got for her? The sky is the limit here. Ask away. Sometimes they're shy, but they'll jump in here. They'll ask questions. I know another thing that you talked about is always learning, like not just teaching and sharing, but also you learning. You mentioned that you do a lot of reading and just learning. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I do a lot. I am always working to learn something because it grows me. And when I grow, everybody that I am around grows. And that's why I'm constantly working to better myself all the time. There's so much. I mean, I know nothing compared to what's out there. And so it's wonderful to grow. And that's why I continuously search to learn and to be bigger.
I love it. I feel like learning gives you energy. Like
Oh,
I feel like it feeds you, like it allows you to keep going.
yeah.
All
I
right, so
I see a couple of hands up, but I see
yeah,
a couple of questions on there. So Sandra, do you mind if I answer the
yeah,
questions right before
go
we
ahead.
get the hands?
Yes. If you
Okay.
can read them, go right
Yep,
ahead.
I can read them. It says, how did you enter the new construction market? Well, I did that because I told the young lady, she was probably in her 40s at the time. And I said, we were having a conversation. I said, I want to sell new homes. And she handed me her card, and her card said vice president, and it was the largest builder in Las Vegas. And I will tell you though, this is an important one on that one, is that I went to see her broker like she instructed, and he told me 5 times during our meeting, 5 times, when you get uh, experience, come back and see me because I think you'll be really good when you get experience. So I said, and I was at that time I was 30 years old when I stood up, and I said, thank you very much for your time. And thank goodness when I got into real estate, somebody didn't tell me when you get experience, come back and go into real estate. I said, because I never would have in my first year. It made so much at that point in time in 1990, my second year in real estate, I sold $7.7 million in real estate.
And
And I
that was
told
that was a long time ago.
that was a long time ago. And he just looked at me an hour later, called me back and said I had a job. So don't, that's very, very an important part. Um,
Tenacity.
get
That's what I heard.
tenacity. So
Tenacity.
when you jump and you want to go into new home construction, give me a call. We'll talk. And how did you build your business and keep the momentum going when you were first starting without a support team? Um, when I first started, I just dove in, and my support team was my broker. So I did have a support team because I learned from a broker. And then 6 months into it, I joined up with another person, and we started teaching at 6 months. Don't ask me how or why and what I thought I knew yet. At 6 months, we started teaching the new people coming in because we were in it for 6 months. Yet that got me to grow. If you want to learn, teach. grow.
Yeah, you're gonna learn
And-
so much faster when you're teaching, and you're gonna do things the right way because you want other people to see you do it right.
Yes, yes. And then that's so true. And I said, and then what are you reading now? Reading now, it's, and Susie Kopp, you have to say it out loud because I'm with Susie's group with the KW Liaisons, and of course you put me on the spot to ask me the book, and it's a great book, and Susie will tell
High
us.
Road Leadership by John Maxwell.
Thank you, Susie. Super. And what made you change from oh goodness, you would ask me that. What made you change from a team to a solo agent? Well, I'm going to just be brief, and then we've got a hands up, and I want to be conscious of time. I had a divorce, and it was called, I divorced my twin brother in business. So because of that, and things happen in your lives, guys. Things happen, and you just go through it, and you'll learn when you're going through it, because that's what's so important. So important. So 2 years ago, we severed. And when we severed, it caused ripple effect. And it caused me to understand that I had all of a sudden more caps that I had to wear. I had to delve into my business in a different way. And that caused people to leave because they felt it. It was no longer what they had joined initially. And so it started to disintegrate. And then some people left for purpose of they weren't, to grow, like I mentioned earlier, and some people left because they weren't comfortable, and I get it. And it was a huge learning experience for me.
Mhm.
And I became a much better person because of it. So very, very, oh, lots of questions. I love it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let, because you can see people, Sandra, I'm gonna let you pick people because I don't know what order.
Okay, so let's start with Janine.
Oh,
Hi, Robin. Thank you so much for I mean, just opening your heart and sharing everything. Your story is just I mean, I was in tears when I heard your story last couple minutes ago. And I also wanted to thank you because you were one of the first person the first agents that congratulated me for joining uh, Luxury Pro. And also when I became the liaison, you gave me a gift, which meant a lot to me. Now, my question to you is, when you decided to join Luxury, was it you went all in in any price point, or did you escalate towards the 4 million, the 5 million? Because I'm right in the beginning of being a luxury agent, so my price point is 1.5 to somewhere around there. I do have a bigger sale, but I want to build uh, big big price points in selling and listing specifically.
awesome question. Awesome. And thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you. When I went into luxury at that point in time, the highest, now in Vegas, it's low. Our price point's low. It's 700. And yet we recognize luxury truly at $1 million. Okay, because we've grown so much, they just haven't changed it. So at that point in time, I had my largest sale that had been given to me by a friend was 2.3. Okay. So what I did and concentrated on was new homes. It was extremely easy to sell a new home to a client at a price point of $1 million, 900,000, $1 million, very easy in the essence of, because my clients that had purchased before, they were growing, especially with low interest rates, guys. At that point in time, they were growing. So I really concentrated on that arena, really the starting arena. And now what happened is that starting arena price point, those people are growing. Those people are changing. Those people, and if they're not changing because they love that low interest rate that they're in with, they love me in the essence of what I was able to do for them, and they share me to their friends who are in that price point of growing. So now a huge concentration for the longest time and it was a while, it was probably 3 years, 3.5 years of that starting point. And then it jumped. And now I'm seeing people being referred to me that are in the 4 million mark. So it's a change.
They done? Yeah.
Excuse me, in here, was there a watch?
Great. Thank you, Robin. Karen.
I don't know.
Again, Robin, quick question. I know you said that you were handed a card by a builder. Went and worked with them, but specifics, how did you get started? Did you work specifically only with them and you couldn't do any other sales? It worked, and then how long of a period was that? And then did you branch it off to other builders, or did you just sell new homes at that point?
That's a huge question, Karen, and I love you for it. And I'm going to do it a very fast speed dial on that one, okay? Because Robin could talk hours on that, and we won't. So what happened was that conversation that led me into the guy saying, basically, come back when you have experience, and then getting an hour later, he says, you've got a job. I went to work for that builder solely. So I went from general real estate, which I'd been in for just over a year and a half. And I went to work, it was about, yeah. And I went to work for them, America West Homes, and I went with them for a year and 8 months. And that led to somebody coming through the door. It was a major builder, a little bit on the cocky side, the two gentlemen that came in, and we bantered back and forth. Use humor, guys. Anytime you possibly can, use humor. And we bantered back and forth, and we connected. They got hold of me when they returned back to their office, because I put them in touch, this major builder, I put them in touch with somebody that I had gotten to know out of learning, because I wanted to learn as much as possible about new homes, where the city was going. I had to learn everything about the city, just so that when people came in, I could tell them anything that they needed to know out of learning, correct? So that builder happened to be Pulte Homes. And most of you on this know who Pulte Homes is. And they weren't in Las Vegas. They got hold of me. They said, thank you for what you did. Thank you for giving us what you did. And we are coming to Las Vegas to build. And we would like to interview you. They put me through 4 interviews. But before I would go through that interview, I put myself in the car the night before the day before the interview, drove to Phoenix, looked at their construction, talked to their salespeople, talked to their a couple of their buyers that I found on the street, and went back. So I was prepared for those interviews, and they put me through 4 of them. Oh my goodness! So I was one of the 9 people who started Pulte Homes in this valley. They're one of the largest builders in this valley. And so from 9 people, we grew to 500 people. And then 10.5 years after I was with them, I had to go and sit on a teenage daughter to make sure she grew up to be the 38-year-old that she is today. And I left Pulte Homes in 2003. And I went back into general real estate, and I used all those wonderful connections and all those wonderful people that I'd sold homes for 10.5 years. And they became my sphere, and they became my landing ground, and they became my rocket. And that's my fast story.
Excellent. Thank you.
And once again, a great storyteller. Thank you, Robin. Louise, did I say it right?
Yes, Louise Weiss from sunny South Florida here in Palm Beach County. Robin, thank you for sharing. And Sandra, thank you so much for extracting another class with Robin. I'm looking forward to that.
Sorry.
Robin, this is all very helpful and rewatch worthy. I'm curious if you could identify just one strategy, or maybe the first one that comes to mind. What is one strategy you found most effective for building the long-term relationships, and how do you enjoy, there are many ways, but which way do you enjoy staying top of mind with your clients post-sale?
Freezing. Can you guys hear me okay?
I
Yes.
can hear you. Your
Okay, you guys
video
can
is
hear me.
good.
Okay. I'm going to
Yep, you're
repeat the
back. Yep.
question. Okay, phew. I saw the unstable part and I thought, don't do that. I haven't moved.
You're
And I'm
back.
not a genius. I'm not a genius when it comes to that. Oh my gosh, and I'm gonna be in trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat the question because my internet anyway, it started to fuzz.
And I also
So,
just placed it in the chat if that's helpful.
oh, you're a blessing. Okay, chat I can read, and I got my reading glasses on, guys. There we go. Oh my goodness, lots of questions. I'm sorry. Okay, one strategy found most effective by building long-term relationships with clients, and how do you stay top of mind? Okay, old-fashioned way first. And the old-fashioned way, because remember when I started, it was a while ago, guys. You guys, I'll tell you, today's world, whew, it's seatbelt. We're in a rocket ship today of what we could do. A rocket ship. Mine was stay in touch by having an old-fashioned postcard sent every single holiday, birthdays, anniversary date of the home that they purchased. So that was for years, right? Then I come to KW 11 years ago. So they come to KW and they have events. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty exciting. So then I grew into the world of events. And that even got the face-to-face. And people would always say to me, by the way, before I got to KW, from 2000, we won't add and subtract that fast. But before I got here in 2014, so 2003 to 2014 was old-fashioned way. And I would get phone calls, though, because I was always in front of them in paper format.
Mhm.
And I would get phone calls from them and they would say, you know what, Robin, we're not thinking of selling right now, but you just always stay in touch with us. Can you help me with the plumber? Or can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, oh, of course, I was always there for them. And I am there for them. And have relationships for so many years. It's wonderful. So then all of a sudden I'm at KW and we have events. And then, it just grows and grows and grows. But I will tell you guys, always, people say, why do you still send postcards? Guys, what ages do you work with? I work with ages from this side to this side. So my contact is texts, emails, postcards, events, and we can go on and on. So it's very much important that you stay in touch with them and that they know that you know that they're here. And
I love
even when they move away, they are still part of your being. You still stay in touch with them. They love you for that.
Thank you.
Perfect. And Jack, he's got his little hand up.
Hey, Mr. Jack, gotta unmute yourself. He's working with these buttons. Mr. Jack has been a very busy man, and so I am blessed to have him on here today.
Well, you're
There
very,
he
very
is.
kind. But let me just say to you, Robin, your wisdom always amazes me because it just flows. But when we're on that call with Brady, 2 weeks ago, was it, when he did the mastermind or whatever it was? He talked about things that you and I have talked about for a long time, and setting up this, oh, sorry, I'm in Breckenridge. for my brother's birthday, and I am from sea level like Sandra. Oh, Lord. Anyhow, I just walked around the block. The thing that I have learned the most from you is your genuineness and your transparency. And when you sent Blake out to spend a week with us, the team learned from him. We didn't learn from him. He didn't learn from us. We learned from the team. So thank you for doing that and letting my team know that he also has standards at 19 that none of them had at 19. I can especially speak for myself. Anyhow, but I just want to thank you again for all you do and all you continue to do, and your example of you and what your team and the office did for when we all came out there. But most importantly, thank you for sending Blake out for us to learn exactly what we need to learn, which is most important to me.
No, thank you, Jack. And Jack hit on something very, very important, and about learning from a young man of 19 years old of age. We learn from many sources. And if we ever get to the point where we think we know more than, guys, get back down to earth. Every day we learn. And he has to put up, and he's here in this room and he's hearing me say this, he has to put up with me drilling into him specifics, because I know he is the core person that has the wherewithal to succeed, not only succeed, be a better realtor than myself, and to take over my business. So that in itself, I had no idea what I was going to do with my business. And to have somebody that I look at and go, so when he can hear me say, when I'm hard on you, I'm just grooming you to be the person that I believe is in front of me and that will take over my business and make it even better than it is. And you will succeed. So thank you, Jack.
He is lucky to have you, Robin.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We did put your contact information. I think I saw my assistant do it in the chat. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can. You want to just make sure that it was the correct information. Robin at smithteamlasvegas.com.
Yes, I love that. And not great always at picking up the phone, although I try to all the time. So texts are wonderful. And you can have my cell number, which is 702-460-5080. And or you could just look under, Miss Las Vegas. Only joking.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Robin. And we will circle
Thank you,
back with
Sandra.
you to get your buyer seminar class on the books. And you guys feel free to reach out to Robin, especially if you have any referrals for Vegas or if you have any questions about anything she talked about. She's very giving, so I'm sure she'll be happy to take your call or call you back or email you back. So thanks so much for being here, everybody. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Sandra. And I did not get to everybody on their questions, so please email me and I will be happy to always discuss, always. So thank you. It's a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
honor, an
Have a
honor.
great day, everybody. See you next month. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.